In this episode, we're going to talk about how to exercise consistently. We're getting close to the end of the year, which means for many people, those New Year's resolutions are right around the corner. It is so common to have fitness goals. But did you know that while lots of people purchase gym memberships in January, according to research that was published on LinkedIn, and of course, I'll throw the link in the show notes to that, 50% of new memberships are canceled within 6 months. And of these cancellations, most happen in the first 90 days. Additionally, I was surprised to learn that 67% of memberships go unused. There are a lot of reasons for the huge drop off and the underutilization of gym memberships. And these statistics can't possibly capture the nuance of every person's situation, but this big picture does illustrate how tough it is to start and actually stick to a fitness program. If you have ever tried to start regular exercise and haven't been able to sustain it, or if you used to have a consistent routine but haven't been able to get it back, I want you to know that it is not your fault. You just didn't have the information, tools, or support that you needed to make it work. This episode is for you if you want to make lifestyle changes that actually stick. I'm going to be giving you science-backed, actionable items that you can do today. Before we get too far, I did make a worksheet. It is in the show notes and you can download it for free. This worksheet takes all of the strategies in this episode and walks you through them so that you can implement them for yourself. You don't need to take any notes. I've already done that for you. Just a reminder to rate the show if you are listening on Apple or Spotify. Your help with this helps tell the algorithm to send the show to new people. If you are watching on YouTube, yes, you heard me right. I'm on YouTube now. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. These little actions help the show so much. Thank you so much for your support. When I onboard a new training client, I ask a series of questions about their fitness history, current habits, and reasons why they want to train. This allows me to develop an understanding of what is important to them, why they came to me, what their goals are, and how I can help them reach those goals. I always ask what they imagine success looks like in the short term, so maybe the next 3 months, and in the long term, so 6 months or more. And I can't tell you how delighted I was when last month a new client, I'm going to call her Kim, but that's not her real name, told me that success in the long term looked like consistency. Kim shared with me that she would go through phases where she worked out consistently, but then something would happen. Most recently, she started a new job and moved to a new house. And she would fall off the wagon, so to speak. And once Kim missed a workout, she would miss another and another until she wasn't exercising at all for several months at a time. Let's just pause to acknowledge that big transitions are a very normal time for a routine to be disrupted, especially a transition as large as a new job or a new house. Both of those take a lot of energy to adjust to, and to not make it to the gym for a few weeks or even a few months is completely human response to stress and overwhelm, and it's not at all a moral failing. It doesn't even take a big life event to cause a big disruption. Plenty of us also fall off the wagon with smaller inconveniences. Maybe you have to stay late at work to finish a project and you miss your gym session. But then the next evening, you go out with coworkers for an impromptu drink and you miss it again. The next night, you're tired. You don't feel like going, and you think to yourself, well, I already missed it twice. May as well start again next week. And so there's day 3. You've missed it again. Kim shared with me that something similar happened to her. She would tell herself that she would get back to the gym on Monday, but then Monday would pass and she'd plan on starting again the following Monday, and weeks would go by that way. She wanted to get back to her fitness routine, but it was really hard to get started. It is undeniable that staying consistent with exercise can be incredibly challenging. The first step is to find a guiding purpose that makes regular training feel meaningful, not optional. Trainer Elizabeth Davies blew up online a few years back when her post went viral that said, "Training for my summer body? F no, I'm training for my old lady body. Dense bones, strong muscles, a healthy heart, good balance, functional independence. I believe that this post went viral because it resonated deeply for so many women. It rejected training for aesthetics, which is superficial, and instead emphasized training for longevity and functional independence and health span, which is really substantial. It is a sound, wholesome philosophy that can underpin training consistently week after week, month after month, and year after year. When developing your guiding purpose, you don't have to be original. You can absolutely borrow this philosophy from Elizabeth Davies. I know that I do. In addition to this, I also train to keep up with my high energy herding dogs. I have 2 Australian Shepherds. And because I find challenging hikes and technical ski runs extremely gratifying. I also just think challenging my body is fun and interesting and enjoyable. So trying to run a faster mile or lift a heavier weight definitely keeps me coming back. You could train in order to keep up with children or grandchildren, or to be able to travel independently year after year, or to get on and off of a sailboat on a windy day. There's not really a right reason, as long as it supports the things that are important to you. So that takes care of step 1, define your underlying purpose. And you can also have more than one reason. Let's talk about motivation. I was on Threads, which, by the way, I hate how my Instagram feed previews little snippets of Threads because I'll see something that makes me curious. I'll go to read more, and then I've just opened another social app to eat away at my time. But one way or another, someone had written something to the effect of, "Help, I'm starting at a gym on Monday and I want to be healthy. How do I stay motivated?" That word motivation is so sneaky. We think that we need motivation to be successful at just about anything in life. The fact that some random person on Threads was asking advice on motivation is just proof of how prevalent this belief is. We talk about athletes' motivation to win, or a student's motivation to learn, or a person's motivation to make a drastic change to improve their health. But the truth is that motivation might be one of the most misunderstood constructs in human behavior because we think it plays a much larger role in achievement than it actually does. Stanford psychologist and author of the book Tiny Habits, BJ Fogg, wrote that motivation is useful at helping us do big things once. For example, your doctor might tell you that your blood pressure is high and that you need to make lifestyle changes to avoid serious health complications. You don't want to develop a chronic illness, so you're motivated to throw all of the junk food in your house in the trash and sign up for a gym membership. You had an intense conversation with your doctor, which brought up big feelings about your future and your health, and you responded with the motivation to take drastic action. Motivation got you to clean out your pantry of food that you like and sign up for the gym. Now you need to make the daily actions to eat healthy and exercise regularly. The problem is your motivation isn't going to do that for you. It doesn't sustain over the long haul and see you through these daily actions. You need a different system to support your lifestyle changes. And this is where habits come in. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, which is a fantastic book and everyone should get a copy. He defines habits as, quote, a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. If getting your workout in is automatic, something that you just do on a certain day at a certain time without thinking too hard about it, you will be consistent. It is that simple. Understanding how habits work helps us intentionally cultivate new ones. So let's go over the anatomy of a habit. And this is again from James Clear's Atomic Habits. A habit happens in 4 parts. There's a cue, craving, response, reward. So let me give you a real life example. When I wake up, the very first thing that I do is drink coffee. The night before, I grind the beans and set the coffee machine to go off 15 minutes before my alarm. Okay, let's be real. Actually, it's my husband who does that, but anyways, it gets done. So when my alarm goes off, I can already smell the coffee brewing in the kitchen. The combination of my alarm, being newly awake and groggy, and smelling the coffee is my cue. This makes me really want the coffee, which is the crave part of the habit response. My automatic response is to pour a cup of coffee and start drinking it, preferably drinking it in bed. And that is my response. The reward is this relief from wanting the taste and comfort of the warm coffee and slowly feeling more and more awake. I have gone through this process so many times. I got an automatic coffee maker when I first moved in with my husband in 2016. That is 9 years of almost every day waking up to the smell of coffee and drinking it first thing. With thousands of repetitions under my belt, the second I receive the cue, my alarm and my coffee smell, my craving for the ritual of drinking coffee sets in. This is because the cue, craving, response, reward is a behavioral feedback loop. Our brains are wired to learn when we get a reward, and then whenever the cue comes up that is attached to the reward, away we go through that loop. I don't wake up in the morning and make the decision about whether or not to drink coffee. I don't think about the route from the bedroom to the kitchen or which cupboard has the cups. Once the cue occurs, all of those things happen completely automatically. As a complete aside, sometimes I see clients for a morning workout who tell me that they haven't had their coffee yet, and I'm always absolutely floored that a person would leave their house and go in public without having had their coffee. No one but my dogs and my husband will ever get to talk to me before my coffee. Anyways, we develop habits because our brains are really excellent at saving energy. It is hard work to think through every single task or process. When I first started coaching group exercise classes, I was exhausted at the end of even just an hour because I had to provide clear general instructions throughout, address individual questions, manage a group of people, use a stopwatch, play music, adjust the room temperature, and more. I had to think about every single thing that I did. After teaching thousands of classes, I regularly teach 5 in a row. And while it's physically taxing to be on my feet for hours running these classes, I no longer have to think through everything that I do. Many of my instructions are automatic: how to start the treadmill, how to adjust the rower, where to go next, how to move through specific exercises. So now that we understand the anatomy of a habit, how do we actually create one? I'm going to highlight 2 strategies, one from James Clear and one from BJ Fogg. James Clear describes implementation intentions in his book Atomic Habits, but this concept comes from the field of behavioral psychology. An implementation intention is just a clear plan about when and where you will perform a new habit. With this level of clarity, you are more likely to follow through. This is an incredibly simple formula to follow. All you have to do is fill in the blanks. So I will behavior at time in location. I will start my workout at 5:30 at LA Fitness. I will ride my exercise bike at 6 a.m. in my basement. I will go to an Orange Theory class at 7:30 a.m. at the College Mall location. I've seen a lot of trainers on Instagram recommend that people put their workouts in their calendars and treat them with the same dedication or seriousness that they would for a business meeting or doctor appointment. My recommendation is to both write out and or say aloud your implementation intention and put it in your calendar if you use one. I believe that sharing your implementation intention with a spouse, friend, or with your trainer, I love when my clients do this with me, adds an additional layer of accountability and social support. BJ Fogg, researcher and author of Tiny Habits, has another similar strategy called habit stacking. Rather than creating a time and location for your new habit, you stack it with something that is already a habit. Here's a super simple habit stacking formula. After I current habit, I will new habit. Easy. So here's what the habit stacking strategy might look like when you're creating a new exercise habit. After I drink my first cup of coffee, I will start my morning workout. Can you see my priorities here? After work, I will drive to the gym. After I drop the kids off at daycare, I will go to a class at Orange Theory. I think that both strategies can be really helpful, and you should choose the strategy that fits your situation and your personality. For example, if I schedule a workout for 12 p.m., but I don't start until 12:13, I personally feel yucky and frustrated. I'm not sure what that says about my brain. So for me, habit stacking can sometimes feel cleaner. Here's an example. When I get home from work, I play with the dogs, then lift weights. I do think that in both cases, it really helps to write them down, say them aloud, tell a friend, share them on social media, or anything else you can think of to make it more real and to add an extra layer of accountability. I don't think that simply thinking about your new habit is enough to get it to stick. There's an amazing creator on Instagram called Fabuloso, and she posts a reel every day that she goes on a walk, which is every day for the past 400 days or so. You should definitely check her out. She is amazing and positive and just has the best energy. Let's talk about James Clear's 2-minute rule. This is going to be extremely important when you try to set up a habit, and it is a concept that I really didn't understand for a long time. Your new habit should not take any longer than 2 minutes. If it takes longer, you won't stick to it. Not because you're a bad or lazy person, but because our brains are always looking for the easy way out. So stay with me because I'm not telling you to complete a 2-minute workout. That would be ineffective. And this is where I was tripped up when I first started reading the literature on habit. I've also seen a lot of recommendations online. Things like just do 10 squats a day, or just do 3 push-ups, or just show up at the gym for 5 minutes, that indicate that other people also might misunderstand this. Yes, your workout needs to feel manageable, and 10 squats are so many more than 0 squats. However, I believe that in order to stick with your workouts, you also have to feel like you're making progress over time. Ultimately, to do that, it's going to have to be more than 2 minutes or more than 10 squats. When I was a kid, I had a hand-painted mug that I got for Christmas. And at the very bottom on the inside, it had the phrase, "To begin is half the work." When I finished my hot chocolate or whatever I was drinking, back then it wasn't coffee, I would see those words. They are hugely powerful. Have you ever had a task that was like really hard to get started, but once you got going, you sort of got through on a roll and it wasn't that bad? The idea that to begin is half the work is sort of a version of the 2-minute rule. Here's why. Many of our behaviors are complex and will never be automatic. In fact, your 45 minutes to an hour at the gym shouldn't be completely automatic. If it is, you probably aren't challenging yourself sufficiently to improve. But remember that because energy used to be expensive, you are hardwired to try to get out of doing something that is quote unquote hard. So your non-automatic challenging workout might not seem too appealing in the beginning. However, once we get going, it's usually possible and even enjoyable to keep going. Because of this, your exercise habit really needs to be a trigger habit that gets your workout started. It doesn't have to be the whole workout. Following the 2-minute rule, your habit needs to be something small that you can accomplish in under 2 minutes that is like a runway to your larger workout session. Let's go back to my habit stack as an example. I always drive home from work. When I get home from work, my dogs are really excited and I have to throw balls for them in the front yard, or they will not leave me alone. So I get home and right away I play with the dogs for 10 or 15 minutes. After that, I need to lift weights in my workout room. Using the cue lift weights or exercise is actually too vague. That is a huge behavior that will take me at least 30 minutes. Maybe I'm going to procrastinate or skip it entirely in favor of something easier and faster. So what easier, faster thing can I do that will get me started, that will be the runway to this workout? My closet where I keep my clothes is actually in my workout room. So if I set out my workout clothes on my bench in the morning before work, then all I need to do is walk into the workout room and see the clothes. If I see the clothes, I'll put them on and then I'll start the workout. It's a chain of actions that lead me to working out. So given this, my new habit stack might be, after I play with the dogs, I will walk into my workout room. Walking into the room is easy. I'm less likely to avoid something that is easy. So this is the first little habit, automatically walking into the room in the same way that I automatically play with the dogs or automatically grab my morning coffee. It is like a trigger habit for changing into my exercise clothes and then the workout, which should happen next. Getting started can oftentimes be the hardest part. Once you get going, though, there are definitely things that could still derail your workout. For example, if you get a notification on your phone, oftentimes we compulsively check it, even if it doesn't need an immediate response. I found myself going down rabbit holes on Instagram. I'd get a notification, open the app, end up watching one unrelated short video, then another, then I'd read the comment section. And before I knew it, 20 minutes had gone by. And not only was I running out of time to work out, my momentum and my focus had gone. And it was just kind of like harder to start again. Pets and children can also derail your workout if you're at home. I recommend that you make a list of things that might get you off track once you start, and then plan what you will do about it. For example, my phone distracts me, so I can either leave in another room or use an app blocking tool. I highly recommend the Be Present app, by the way. I've been using it, and my phone, it's cut my screen time down so much. It's amazing. If your puppy is going to demand your attention, can they rest in their crate for your 45-minute workout? We can plan and do our very best to avoid distractions, but sometimes life is going to happen and you will miss your workout. Remember not to beat yourself up. A few missed workouts are not the end of the world. Once you get your new habit started, how are you going to keep it going? Habit tracking can be a powerful tool. Change with exercise can happen really slowly. An acquaintance might notice a difference if they haven't seen you for a few months, but to you, small changes may be nearly imperceptible. When you get more advanced, progress also gets smaller. Because of this, celebrating milestones can be really gratifying. I know on the Orange Theory Fitness app home screen, you can see how many classes you've taken, and they celebrate milestones in studio, 25 classes, 50, 1,500, with a sign and a group photo. You could track the number of workouts that you do. You could track the weight that you lift with certain exercises or the total mileage that you run or walk. Find a way to celebrate. Make yourself your own brag board or certificate or post on social media. Get creative with this. Celebrations, milestones are really important. Before I go, I want to leave you with a little all or nothing antidote. Remember how when Kim missed a workout, it had a cascading effect where one missed workout turned into a whole week and then a whole month? An all or nothing mindset is never going to support you. My best advice is that gentle reminder that something is better than nothing. Of course, life is going to happen. Illness, injuries, big life events, vacations. They might take you out of your workouts for a week or more, and that's always okay. A week or two is nothing when you look at the big picture. But on the days that you just don't feel like it, try to do a little bit. Commit 20 minutes. If you aren't feeling it after 20 minutes, then stop. But many times getting started is the hardest part, and after you start, you'll be able to keep going. Similarly, if you miss a workout during the week, it's not a big deal. You don't have to wait until Monday to start again. Just pick up with your next workout on the next day that it's scheduled. Something is better than nothing. I can't tell you how many times I felt like I didn't have enough time to work out, and I just did 4 exercises. Just 4 exercises with my weights and ended up feeling so much stronger, so much better, and honestly really proud of myself. So here's your homework. If you haven't already, go to the show notes, download the exercise habit worksheet that I created based on the information in this episode. Fill it out and tell a friend your plans. As always, if you have any questions, send me a DM. I'm on Instagram at strongher.collective. That's StrongHer.collective. Don't forget to rate the show and send this episode to a friend who it might help. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get stronger together.